Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Hunter Pogatchnik with us, and he is originally from Minnesota, but now he's in Las Vegas. But we're going to talk about land flipping, which is a new category for me. So I'm very intrigued, Hunter, about this particular category. Just give us a little history of how you got into this and how it got started.
Yeah. A lot of people don't really think about land or land flipping when they think about real estate. And that's why I like it because there's not as much competition when it comes to it. Because if you've ever been to like a real estate event or meetup, there's everybody is in, houses or flipping or commercial or something, but not many people focus on land, which is what I like. I had got into it when I was in college. I was interested in real estate. So I had reached out to my advisor and I asked them to connect me with somebody who did real estate, and they connected me with somebody who's doing like fix and flip and wholesaling and had traditional rentals and everything. And I was helping him out mainly with like the cold calling and being on the phone and buying properties. So that was my experience with that. Um, and I was looking, I wanted to buy a property. I think I had like because I was in college, like maybe $20,000 saved up. But I went to school in Fargo, North Dakota. So houses there were around, you could get something for sub $100,000 for a house. And I wanted to get my first rental property. So I was just looking around, and then I actually saw a piece of land that was on the market, and it was 2.5 acres that was on a lake, and it was pretty close to my house, and it was listed at $25,000, which was a good price for the amount of acreage on a lake. And I put an offer into them, and we were able to negotiate it down. I got it for $9,000.
Oh, wow.
So it was a good deal. It was the guy was actually from California, so he never used it. He lived out of state. Um, and yeah, so I bought it from him, and I just wanted to use it for myself because it was close to me and everything. And I couldn't build a house or anything, couldn't afford it, but I wanted to just like put a camper and RV on it and then use it for fun. So I put a driveway in, I cleared it out, and I got ready for that. And then I found out zoning didn't allow you to do that. So I had to sell the property, and I sold it for 50 grand. So I made 40 grand off of that first property. And I was like, wow, that was a lot easier than all the other stuff I'm doing right now. So then I started repeating the process a couple times. Like I bought some other pieces of land, and then flipped them basically. And then I've just been scaling it up over the last 5 years. And last year I did a little bit over 100 flips last year.
Wow. That is quite amazing. So you're basically have built your $9,000 investment into sounds like maybe millions of dollars.
Yeah, it's just been reinvesting because that's the when you start off, I mean, there's a lot to get into like how I do it, but the biggest way to keep growing is just to keep reinvesting your profit from the properties you buy before. So that's basically all I've been doing.
So are you using 1031 exchanges? Is that how it works?
Um, sometimes it depends on the property, and where I'm doing it at. I didn't, and especially at first, I didn't do it because I didn't know about it. Uh,
Right, right.
but yeah, the one way that I'll scale is um, you can use 1031 exchanges. You can use taxes are not the best, so you can do 1031 exchange, but you can also I also JV with people a lot too, so I'll partner with people on deals to um, not use a lot of my own capital as well. So, but yeah, 1031 you could do.
So when you JV, do you just cash out and then pay your joint venture investors out of the profits?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's,
And
we'll have a split agreement with that.
sometimes they stay in and you do another 1031 or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So 100 properties, what that's like maybe two, what is that like 4 a month or something like that, or 4 or 5 a month?
I try to do like yeah, two a week. So eight.
Two a week.
Eight,
Wow.
eight a month or a little bit more than eight a month.
How many do you have right now?
I have probably about 40 or so listed for sale because
Wow.
it's kind of seasonal in how land works because over the winter, especially I do a lot of stuff that's in the Midwest and where it snows. Um, so over the winter, you're not selling as much, and usually I'm acquiring a little bit more. And then over the summertime, so as we're coming up right now, as it's spring, that's when the sales start to go a lot quicker. So I kind of build up inventory over the winter and then sell off in the spring and summer.
Yeah, I mean, that makes perfectly logical sense to me. I mean, people are going to be looking for kind of vacation homes in the spring and summer, and in the winter, you probably can buy for a little better price than during the spring and summer months.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I clarified yet, just to everybody who's listening, but yeah, the type of land that I buy is not going to be like city lots where people are developing them. It's going to be lots that are out an hour or so, hour or 2 hours outside of a big city. So those people can go to those properties for like cabins and the stuff like that I wanted to do, like have a camper on it or some sort of lake property where there's recreational activity with it. Um, and the reason that I like doing those type of properties is the one value add that I do. There's two that I do. One is physical and one's not physical. The physical value add that I do is getting them somewhat ready for building. So with most of these lots, they're just forested properties. They're raw land. I'll go in and clear out driveway access and clear out a building area and level it out. The other thing that's not physical is I'm looking for the zoning that allows you to do these things, like where you can have a camper, where you can do a tiny house, where you can do short-term rental. Because there's a lot of people who live in like a big city, but they want that vacation type property for the weekend. So that's what I focus on.
So, where are you finding kind of the best markets for this?
Yeah, it works all over the country as long as there's that like cabin type culture. So like living in Las Vegas here, I don't do anything here because nobody has a cabin in Las Vegas because it's just desert. But you know, if you're out east, you're in the Midwest, even on the West Coast, there's a lot of places where, you know, there's lakes and there's trees and mountains and stuff. There's people that go up for a cabin. They have a cabin. So anywhere that there's that, and there has to be a market nearby. So you can't just be you know, hours away from a big city. Like you have to be within a couple hours because that's going to be your target audience for people who are buying those properties. Otherwise, prices just you're not going to be able to get as much profit doing it.
So, how are you finding these properties? Are you on CoStar, LoopNet, or how are you on Zillow? Where are you finding these
Yeah.
properties?
So everything or not everything, 90% of what I buy is going to be off market. So the same as people buy other properties off market, reaching out to the owner directly. That's what I do. So the first thing that I'm going to be looking for is I want to, you know, buy in the regions that make sense. And then I'm also looking for places where the zoning is favorable. So I'm looking for those two things. Um, and then once I have those two categories, like good zoning, good location, then I'm going to reach out to landowners in that area and basically ask if they want to sell. So
So,
uh,
do that by mailing or by calling? How do you work that?
I've done it all, but now I primarily just do direct mail because
Direct mail.
it
I
works well with land.
Oh, okay. So you direct mail them and say, "Hey, I'm interested in buying your property. Are you interested in selling?" And hopefully, a bunch of them reply.
Yep. Yeah. And it's nice because one, it saves me time. I don't have to be on the phone calling people. And two, just with land like that, people's mailing address is public record, so there's no skip tracing, making sure I'm calling the right person and contacting the right person. It's public record where they live, and you mail them. And people are more likely to want to get an offer with land versus like houses or commercial because with like houses and commercial, people are either living in it or using it or they're collecting rent off of it. So they're less likely to want an offer on that property when they get a postcard. But with land, they're just paying property taxes on it, so they're not really gaining anything out of owning it. So people are more likely to want an offer on it.
So I see that you are a certified sales loft administrative person. Do you use sales loft for some of this work?
No, so that was I don't use SalesLoft. That was when I was right out of college. I worked a regular job doing RevOps consulting. So that's why I got that certification. That was like my main income source that I could go and fund my land deals with. What I use for my business right now is I've kept it simple basically since I started just using Excel sheets um, is how I like to keep most of it running. Now I'll use HubSpot to manage some things, but I like to keep things really simple and just use Excel.
Yeah, yeah, no, I understand completely. I'm an Excel guy, so I can appreciate that. So you just go to the public records and download information and off you go from there.
Yep. Yeah. There's a lot of different ways that you want to market to people. So direct mail works well, and then you're going to use different types of direct mail. So you might send postcards, you might send letters, the type of marketing that you're doing, just to reach people to see if they're interested in selling their property is all that I'm doing on that side. Once they're interested in selling, they'll reach out or they get the postcard. If they're interested in an offer, they'll reach back out to me. And then we'll try to get it for a good price. And then I'll actually purchase the property. So I'm not wholesaling it or signing the contract or anything. I buy the property. Um, and then if I'm going to make any of those improvements, like clearing it or driveway, I'll do that and list it for sale. And when I sell it, the two ways that I'll sell the property is it's either going to be for cash or it's going to be, I'll do a lot of stuff on seller financing. So I'll sell the properties on seller financing because a lot of banks don't like to finance on this type of land when there's no structure being built on the property. So a lot of the people that buy the properties from me like they have the intention of putting a cabin eventually, but a lot of people just want to use it for like camping for a year or pull like an RV under a year and then maybe they'll build their cabin next year. So a lot of people don't actually have the building plans right away, which means the banks don't like to finance it. So the only way for them to buy it is cash, some sort of equity loan against their home or something, or seller financing. So I sell a lot of stuff with seller financing.
Well, that's interesting. So you basically kind of bank the whole project, so to speak. And then
Yep.
you have JV partners that are helping you out in terms of helping doing the backup financing for that.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
And it's how often do you end up with a default?
Uh, Pretty often. I'd say
Oh, that's interesting.
I'd probably say maybe 30% the
Oh,
time.
wow. Okay. But
Um,
you seem fine with that. Like you get the land back, right?
oh yeah, that's perfect. I mean, I don't mind because you get to keep the property and you get to keep the money.
Yeah,
So,
right, right. So you kind of best of both worlds.
yep. Yeah.
And
So defaulting doesn't matter. And I've never had an issue where it depends on the state you're doing it in, like if you're using a deed of trust or a contract for deed or whatever it is. So in order to cancel those, like if somebody doesn't want it anymore, they stop making payments. Most places, like you'll either sign like a quick claim deed or you'll have like an agreement to cancel or whatever it is that they have to do in that state. Out of all the properties I've done, I've never had somebody not sign that document for me that I need to cancel it. So I've never had to go to the extra step of like a foreclosure type thing on them.
right, right.
Even out of all the defaults, everybody basically they either say they don't want it anymore. What do they have to do to sign? Some people like they can't afford it anymore. What do they have to do to clear like that debt out of their name? So everybody's willing to do it, basically.
So I assume this is like a notarized document that they have to sign and then
Yep.
you get it back and off you go. Now you basically file a quit claim deed and off you now own the property again.
Yep.
And then I
Exactly.
assume you resell it again.
Yep. I've sold the same property 4 or 5 times before.
Wow. Wow. That and what's the sort of typical hold in when it goes back like maybe a year or six
For
months, a year?
how long until they default after?
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I'd say I've had people change their mind after a couple months up to usually if it goes longer than 2 years, most people are pretty good. But
Yeah.
Anywhere up to like 2 years, people are flaking out.
How long's your typical financing?
Usually now it's around 5 years.
Oh, okay. All right. So right now, you said you did 100 properties last year. How many of those did you own or finance?
Again, probably a majority. I'd say 2/3
Oh,
are
wow.
seller financing. Yeah.
I like this business. This
Yeah.
is cool. Yeah. So you've been out on social media. Have you been teaching other people how to do this?
Yeah. I didn't really talk about it at all until like a little bit over a year ago, because
Mhm.
I didn't really want anybody else to know about it.
Yeah, right. It's
But
your own
then
secret. It's your
yeah,
secret sauce, basically.
yeah.
I
Then
don't
I
blame you
started
for
seeing
that.
some other people talking about it though on social media who are doing pretty similar things. So I was like, might as well capitalize on it. I can find people to JV with and whatnot. So
Well, I would think that would be a pretty good market. Most people probably are interested in doing it, but don't want to actually have to go through the mechanism of they'd rather just invest and back you up and so forth.
yeah, it works. Well, a lot of people like because the properties that I deal with, most of the stuff I try to stay under the $50,000 mark of sale price. So for example, if I'm buying a property for 5, 6, $7,000 is usually like what I'm paying for them, and
Uh-huh.
I try to buy it at least a third of what the market value is. So if I'm
Okay.
paying 5, the sale price would be 15 or so, or if I'm paying, somewhere in that price range. I like to keep them under 50 because they sell a lot faster. When you get over 50, it's the same as um, like high-end real estate. If you're $1 million house is going to sit on the market longer than a $300,000 house. So it's the same with land. When it gets expensive, it sits a little bit longer. So I like to keep it under 50,000.
Yeah, no, that sounds fantastic. No, this is a very intriguing system that you've got. And it sounds like how many JV partners do you have now? I mean, like 10, or is this a lot?
I still do most of my deals in cash, so
Yeah.
my own cash, but there's a couple people.
Yeah, okay, so small group of people.
Mhm.
So, but you haven't figured out a way to sort of, well, other than buying and doing this, it sounds like you could market your services to help people do this on their own, basically.
Yeah. I mean, I've helped some people I know and some friends, and they've been doing it and it works well. The nice thing is it's not very saturated because there's not that many people that do it. So
Yeah, no, I can understand that completely. Well, this is very fascinating. So, Hunter, how can people get a hold of you if they want to JV with you?
yeah. The best way is probably Instagram is easy because it's just my name. It's Hunter Pogo, Hunter Pogo. That's easier to spell. So you can reach out to me on Instagram, Hunter Pogo. Or my email, it's pogachnik.hunter@gmail. It's POGATCHNIK.hunter@gmail.
Easy peasy. All right. Well, I look forward to talking to you in 6 months, a year again, and see how things are going.
Cool. Sounds good. It was a great conversation.
Great. I'll talk to you soon.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.